What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Emporium's movie review of The King's Daughter. This film is directed, of course, by McNamara. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming in next. If you like any of these videos, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. In this fantastical fantasy tale that is The King's Daughter, it's about King Louis XIV, who's played by Brosnan. He's an individual that wants to live forever, that he's told his kind of confidant, Pierre Lachaise, who's played by William Hurt, to send someone out to find the Fountain of Youth, find the lost city of Atlantis. And that's what they do. They send out this guy named LaCroix, played by Benjamin Walker, and he goes and has to take back a mermaid who will give, of course, Louis XIV everlasting life. Now, because this is Louis XIV and he was a king of France and he had illegitimate kids, we have to introduce one of those illegitimate kids, and one of those illegitimate kids is, of course, Scodelario's character, who is this young girl who loves the water, finds herself, in a convent, is brought back to basically marry this douchebag of an individual, but she falls for LaCroix and she ends up finding out there's a mermaid and the purpose of what that mermaid's here for. And as you expect, there's going to be some trauma, there's going to be some downturn, and there's going to be some drama on how to get this mermaid back to, of course, the Atlantis, as you could say. And so with a film like this is of course directed by McNamara, who's well known for doing the film Soul Surfer, which is about the young girl who got her arm bitten off due to a shark attack. I actually enjoyed that film. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it had a lot of interesting, heartwarming material, but of course it's about a shark attack, so you know what you're getting yourself into. And this is also written by a guy named Ronald Bass, who is an Oscar-winning writer, who of course wrote Rayman, wrote Entrapment. He's done a lot of great films in his career. So with that said, this movie being a January film, I was kind of on a teetering type of seesaw, I guess you could say. I knew this was a January film. I knew this wasn't Scream. I knew this is a film that could be really terrible, but it has a pretty decently stacked cast with like Pierce Brosnan and of course William Hurt and Scodelario, and even Benjamin Walker is pretty good. And then you have the writer and director who are competent enough in what they do, but you still have to go into it with a January set of mind where you think the movie's gonna be terrible. So with that said, after watching this movie, I can honestly and truly say that this is not an Oscar-winning movie. This is not, a movie that you're going to be like, this is the greatest film ever. But there is some charm to this movie, believe it or not. There's some essence of just like, they're really trying to present a film for young kids, especially young women or young girls who, don't get a lot of films of their ilk where it comes to, a film about a young woman who befriends a mermaid who just has a friendship like that and has to deal with their, illegitimate father who's played by, Pierce Brosnan as King Louis XIV. There's some darkness to it, which makes the film somewhat, interesting as a perspective to watch. But I think overall, what I think the movie does is it at least tries to be interesting. It at least tries to not be a January movie. It just has the unfortunate nature of being put in January, therefore it's not given a lot of credence for the box office. But I think the movie just kind of works for what it is. I think it's an interesting, entertaining hour and 37 minutes. It's not insulting to your intelligence. Some of the things that don't work are like some of the music choices and the visual fidelity or the CGI for the mermaid are a little off-putting, a little cheesily done. They don't look right in a lot of aspects, but I like the design of the mermaid. I like that it has flippers on its arms, and of course it has the tail and stuff like that, but it also has some interesting powers that are presented. And similar to like Hugh Grant in Paddington 2, I really think Pierce Brosnan is just really having a lot of fun with this character. He's hamming it up. He is definitely an over-the-top and silly version of Louis XIV too. I can't gather whether Louis XIV was a well-liked king or he was a well-hated king. There's some mixture of what people think. So I'll just say he was like a middle-of-the-road king, to be fairly honest. He did some things that were great, some things that were not great. At least he didn't get his head cut off, but so on and so forth. But it's just a movie that really just wants to be a fantasy film. It just wants to, for an hour and 37 minutes, just kind of let you kind of delve into this world, enjoy the fantasy, enjoy the love, enjoy the heartwarming nature as well as the heartbreaking nature. And it does it with, ease. I think Sean McNamara just really has a good sense of just creating a film that won't ever win an Oscar, but will still be fun to watch in the theaters or on TV or video on demand. And I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It doesn't insult me in any way. It doesn't make me feel like, I regret watching it, because I sure did. And I don't think it's a film that does it in any form or light. I just think it's a film that has problems when it comes to storytelling and its aspects. I think Benjamin Walker's LaCroix is fine. He's just more of a love interest character. But I think the friendship between the Kaya Scodelario character and the Mermaid is well represented, and I think does a really nice job. It's just, like I said, dealing with the CGI aspect, which makes it a little wonky and all that good stuff. But overall, it's an entertaining film. It does its job. It's not going to be something that you're going to call the best movie of the year, but I think that's fine. I think it's worth the time and effort to watch it just to see what these guys do. And you may end up liking it more than I do. That's just the way it works out. But I think overall it's a pretty decent film, especially for something that came out in January. So with that said, that's pretty much a surprise. There was one film I really hated, which I was expecting to like. I expected to really hate this film, and I somewhat enjoyed it. So that's an interesting way the 22 has worked out for me. So anyways, that'll do it. That'll be my take on The King's Daughter. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below. Have you heard of this movie? Are you interested in seeing this movie? What is your official opinion about this movie? Anything you want to say in the comments below, let me know. Otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like any of these videos, awesome. Hit that like button, and as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.